What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I am here with top 10 best cards from BT26 Ultimate Advent. Like, it was so difficult to find top 10 best cards without resorting to like SCRs. So anyway, yeah, this set is wow. This set is amazing. And before we begin, huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our level patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons that buy us coffee. They keep this crazy content grind going. And guys, thanks a lot for support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to your patron is in the description below. And I think that's about everything. Roll the video. As with all of our videos, let's start with a breakdown. So these are the best BT26 cards. This is just my personal rating. The scaling is from 10 to 1. So from the worst best card to the best card. And we'll just wrap it up with a skipped summary. So basically end screen. Let's go. On number 10, we have my favorite. So, yeah, it's very hard to find the worst best card, but for me, that is the Frieza Z Leader. Like, this card is amazing. This card alone makes the archetype so much better. This and the free cost card, so you can imagine both of them being here. How and why? Well, if you haven't played this deck with the new support, please go and do so, because with his Activate main and the newest free cost card, you can play the 5 cost Red Blue Frieza 100% Overdrive for only 1 energy. And paying 1 energy for a massive, triple striker who minuses everything, ignoring barrier, and then mills your opponent. Yeah, paying 1 for that is very much valuable. So it's an amazing piece of legacy support which makes the entire borderline unplayable deck better. And it's one of my first decks. So yeah, that's why I'm putting it to number 10. On number 9, we have another piece of legacy support, and this one is for Blue Kaba from BT15 Saiyan Showdown. The deck got insane support. The deck was just completely unplayable, but now it got a Z Leader that's amazing. It got this 7 cost, which is also phenomenal. So yeah, if your leader is Blue Kaba and you place this card from your Z energy into its honor drop, you either play your Unison with 2 markers on, or you play your boss monster, like Proud Zenith, from your hand. Like, this is phenomenal. I don't expect it to be a meta deck, but U6 now finally has a viable deck. Yeah, I'm sorry, I know Yellow Kefla exists, but that deck is just really kinda bad. So U6 finally has like a viable rogue deck at least. And that's awesome. On number 8, we have the newest Black Floodgate. So the cooler boss monster, the SR. So it's kinda bad. The card is kinda bad to a point where I probably wouldn't even put it on this list. It should not have cost 3 energy. It should have cost 2 max. Paying 3 for this is way too much. However, it is amazing in a couple of slower decks which don't really care so much about the amount of energy being spent, and those are Hedge, Cooler after like turn 4 or so, and Cumber. In those 3, this card is gonna be amazing. Outside of those specific decks, it's probably too expensive to play, but in those specific decks, it's really good. Number 7 is this Android 18 SR. So this one is very niche, but it's very strong. As you can see, like all the way up to like number 6 or 5, the cards are like okay, and they're strong in some very niche decks or in very niche situations. This Android is just a 1 energy 20k dual attacker. That's it. You can just ignore the majority of other text because she goes into the Goku GT deck, which is just kinda bad. So, however, there is one cool thing that you can do with it. It isn't leader locked, so you can use it in combination with the card to my right, which is also a dual attacker for a single energy, for some serious cheap aggression. As long as you have Android 17 in play, you pay 1, you swing twice with this card, and then you pay 1, you play the other card, you minus something, and then it's also dual attacker and you swing 25 twice. So that's 4 attacks for 2 energy. That's pretty good. Otherwise, it's just a decent card. It's a pay 120k dual attacker. That's fine. And with that, we're finally moving to cards that you look at and you're like, okay, now we're cooking. This cooler is great. Cooler SR, Strongest Pride. So it's a great generic black card. It's 25k. It costs only a single energy. You pay 1, you warp a card. That's what you do. You warp one of your opponent's cards when you play him. You fuel your drop by putting 2 cards, black cards, from your warp into your drop. So you're just fueling your Overrealm. You buff any black card by plus 5k for the turn. It can be your leader, it can be this card, it can be anything. And you get a 25k attacker. And all of that for just a single energy. That's really good. Like this is, I believe, a generic black card which will see play in various decks, at least like 2 copies of, because the effect is very, very strong. And now we start with the very best ones. Number 5, SS4 Vegito-Z Unison, for one very specific reason. So this is the ultimate Unison killer Unison. Yeah, this Unison is made to kill other Unisons. It's gonna be a staple in any green deck. Every green deck under the sun is gonna run 1 copy of these. Why? Because +1, activate main, add 1 green card from your hand to your Z energy, draw 1. Big thing, you don't add it with skills negated. So if you Z charge the green Gohan rare, its auto will trigger. You can pay 1 and you can remove 3 markers from a Unison. You don't even need to attack to do that. You just say like activate main, charge him into the Z energy, pay 1, remove 3 markers. So the ability to flat out kill Unisons without even having to attack. Like having to attack, that's the problematic part. You can be hit by a combat trick, you can be hit by a floodgate, your attack can get negated, you can never get to the combat step, to the combo step so that you can actually do the Z energy charge. Or your opponent can throw an Omen of Evolution or something at you. No, this is just +1, send the Gohan rare into the Z energy, pay 1, kill a Unison. Like this card is gonna be a staple until green Gohan rare gets banned or something. On number 4, we have this Broly, and for one reason alone. This is less power, more playability. This is a generic blue boss monster. That's something that blue didn't have. So, yeah, any blue deck can play it. For 2 energy, if your leader is blue or a Broly, you play him from your hand, and then he also have EX Evolve limit 1 for 1 blue energy. You evolve him on top of another Broly, cost 8 or less. Or a Broly. Basically, you can evolve him on top of himself. If you have 2 of these, you can pay 2, play the first one, and then pay 1 and evolve on top of him. That's amazing. So this card is great as 2 copies. You don't need to run more than 2. You can stack them on top of each other, which is great, and it's 35k dual attacker that also removes a card and gets double strike on the second swing. And it's a once per turn effect. It's not limit 1, so if you play the other copy on top of him, it will trigger again. So yeah, blue good stuff decks got a new toy, and it's awesome. On number 3, we have something that I was struggling not to put on number 1 this time around, and that is the Black Super Combo. Black finally got a Super Combo, the newest version, and this is a game changer. This is a game changer for Black, completely. Why? Because it's one of these new Super Combos that you can play on any number of lives. As long as you have 2 or more Z energy, and all of your energy is black, you can use it. That's the big thing, and it's a plus 10k, you bottom deck 1, you draw 2. Some black leaders can awaken at high lives and they can just sit there. So not having to go down to 4 to use a super combo is a massive deal. The decks that will profit the most out of this are SSG Trunks, because Trunks can awaken at 8 lives, in theory. quite often at 7. Now, Trunks says now enough toys to awaken at very high lives. Mechi Kabura can also in theory awaken at very, very high lives, provided that no Dark Dragon Balls are in your lives. And Cumber just goes to 6 and he can just sit there forever. Cumber is exceptionally defensive, he can just sit there. So these three, plus Cumber has ways to search for it. So these three will love this card. And it being a Black Saiyan makes it even better, because anything that searches a Black Saiyan can now fetch your super high lives super combo. Amazing. Number 2 and number 1 you can change them as you like. But for me, it's like this. Number 2 is SSB Goku and SSB Vegeta SR. Like, Blue gets even more love this set. This card is Chef Damien's Kiss. That's what this card is. It's similar to Red Gamma's SR from a few sets ago, in a way that you play it for 1 energy as activate battle. You just need to be a blue leader and have 2 or more Z energy. You play it from your hand, and one of your cards gets plus 5k for the battle. And you play it in active mode, so if you need, you can just combo it away. It has an auto. When it's played, you draw 1. So pay 1, gain plus 5k, potentially 10 if you are in a pitch, and draw a card. If it remains on the field, when it attacks, it bounces a card back to your opponent's hand and it becomes a 20k attacker. This is gonna be a staple forever in all blue decks going forward. Every single blue deck will want to play this because it's a 1 cost absurd value card. So yeah, I'm shocked that we got this. Like, this card is phenomenal. And number 1 for me is the Androids. Android 17's SR. This is the best card from BT26. Again, it could be the previous one. So, but on my rating, yeah, this one. Definitely. So, it's similar to Goku and Vegeta, but it's even better. Because you play it for 1 energy, you draw 1 automatically, and you get a 20k attacker, who also combos with the card from your drop when you attack, so you charge a Z energy. And it has a permanent that you can combo with it when it's in rest mode. So what you basically do is you pay 1, you draw 1, you get a 20k attacker, you attack for 25k because he combos with something, charges E energy, then you attack with something else, combo him, and then you charge him into Z energy, you just got 2 Z energy, and you draw a card for 1 energy, and you got a 25k attacker. Yeah, this card is everything. This card is absurdly busted, and I cannot wait to play with it. So it's an absurd powerhouse. Every red deck will want to run a few copies of it. Maybe not 4, but definitely a couple of copies of it. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below, what are your top 10 BT26 cards? Do you agree with my list? Do you have a completely different list? I didn't want to include SCRs in this one, because we all know that SCRs are usually very, very good. So let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And while you're here, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Help us get to 6k subs when I'm gonna give away a booster box. This has been Damien from the Lowcut, and I'll see all of you in the next video.